Very few people would ever think about bringing a utility knife this close to a car headlight. But this lens has become so yellow and cloudy that ordinary wiping and washing methods barely make any difference anymore. Instead of rushing to replace it today, I'm going to show you a completely different method using only a few simple things already easily available around the house. No expensive special tools are needed. No complicated professional techniques are required. Watch the entire process carefully because the secret is not the utility knife itself, but knowing exactly when and how to use it correctly. I start with a small mixing bowl. Add a few spoonfuls of baking soda, then enough toothpaste, and mix everything together thoroughly. When the mixture begins to thicken, slowly pour in white vinegar and stir gently so the foaming reaction stays easier to control. Keep mixing until the mixture becomes smooth, thick, and uniform. Toothpaste and baking soda both provide mild abrasion. This mixture only supports the surface treatment steps that come later, and the foaming reaction alone does not prove it can make the headlight clear again. Everything in the bowl looks fairly simple, but the real problem is still on the headlight. The yellowed layer has hardened so much that ordinary wiping barely changes it. Remove the blade from the utility knife, hold it at a slight angle to the surface, and work on one small area at a time. The goal is not to cut into the clear plastic, but only to remove the degraded surface layer, so the pressure must stay light and the blade angle must remain steady. After the first few passes, the yellow layer begins peeling away in very thin strips. Wipe the area clean to inspect it, then continue on to the next section. The first area already looks brighter, but I'm still not completely comfortable. The blade itself can leave small marks if too much pressure is used, or if the angle changes suddenly. Continue working evenly across the entire headlight lens without trying to force your way quickly through the stubborn areas. After wiping the surface clean again, most of the heavy yellow layer is gone. That is a major change. But if we stop here, the headlight is only cleaner, not truly clear. The rough treatment marks still need to be corrected. Now the mixture we prepared at the beginning finally starts to play its part. Apply a thin layer over the headlight lens and place a stainless steel tray underneath to catch any excess liquid. After the scraping step, I do not want to keep working on the surface dry. From this point forward, the process gradually shifts toward finer treatment. While the mixture is working, tell me what country you are watching from, where you live. How do people usually restore yellowed headlights? I would like to learn from your experience. The surface is ready, but the rough treatment marks are still there. This is where P800 begins to do its job. Wet the P800 sandpaper with a thin layer of water, then begin sanding evenly across the headlight surface. P800 is not meant to make the headlight clear immediately. Its job is to bring the areas that were just scraped back to a more even surface level. Sand in controlled directions and keep the surface wet so residue does not build up too heavily. After the first pass, spray on more water and wipe away the cloudy residue. The yellow color keeps decreasing, but the surface now looks more evenly hazy. If you have never restored a headlight before, this is the moment when it is easy to think you have made things worse. But that even haze shows that the deeper oxidized areas are gradually being leveled out. Apply another thin layer of the mixture, then make a second P800 pass over the areas that are still uneven. After wiping the surface clean, almost all of the stubborn yellow staining is gone. P800 has finished the rough work. But the scratches left behind by P800 now become the next problem we need to solve. Rinse away the residue and wipe the surface so we can inspect it. The clarity has improved, but the lens still looks hazy because of the sanding marks. Apply a thin layer of the remaining mixture, then switch to P1200. This paper is finer, so it does not need to remove much material. Its main job is to gradually reduce the marks left by P800. Sand each section gently, keep the surface wet, then spray with water and wipe it clean to inspect the result. This is where I start to see the direction more clearly. Every time I wipe the lens clean, the plastic underneath looks more uniform. But a wet surface can temporarily make the headlight look clearer than it really is, so I dry one area to check it properly. The result is better, but it is still not enough. Repeat the P1200 step a second time with lighter pressure, focusing on the small remaining scratch marks that are still visible. After rinsing and wiping again, the yellow color has almost completely disappeared. Now the problem is no longer the yellowing, but the very fine scratches left across the surface. I spread a thin layer of toothpaste over the headlight and switched to P2. At this grit level, the goal is no longer to remove much material, but to refine the fine scratches that still remain. Sand evenly through the first pass, then spray on a thin layer of water and continue with a second pass using lighter pressure. After rinsing away the toothpaste and drying the surface, the yellow layer is gone and the lens feels very smooth. We have come a long way from where we started. But there is still one problem I am not satisfied with. The headlight still has a light, foggy haze. If I keep sanding just to chase more clarity, I may remove more material than necessary. From this point, the method has to change. Before applying the final finish, the surface needs to be completely dry. Use a heat gun while keeping it moving continuously to remove moisture and avoid holding the heat in one place for too long. Once the water is gone, the surface looks cleaner, but it still is not clearly transparent. This is the step that all the work from the beginning of the video has been preparing for. Pour the polycarbonate polishing solution into the heated vapor cup and wait for vapor to form. When the vapor appears, move the nozzle slowly and evenly along the headlight surface. The change becomes visible immediately behind the path of the vapor. The light haze gradually gives way to a clearer and glossier surface. This is the moment I've been waiting for since I first placed the blade against the headlight. Keep moving steadily without holding the vapor nozzle over one area for too long until the surface becomes more uniform. The coating helps the surface look more continuous and restores the gloss. Now it becomes clear why the utility knife was only the opening step. If the later refining stages were skipped, the final result would be completely different. If this result surprised you, leave the number 1 and share the video with someone who has yellowed headlights. Thank you for watching until the end, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel.